Good evening and welcome to episode 5 of Total Evercade Podcast, our fortnightly Evercade podcast. I am Ryan, your host for this evening. You'll probably notice that Ollie isn't here with us this evening. I don't know where he is or what he's doing, what's more important than spending the evening with us. But whatever he's doing, I hope he's having a nice time. And if you're missing him, I'm sure he will be back in a couple of weeks. But before we get into the three topics that we're going to cover this evening, I just want to welcome our usual panel. So we've got the new Mr. Evercade, Blunners, with us this evening.
I knew you were going to say that. Is it true? It's not true.
I think you are Mr. Evercade.
Mr. Evercade's down here.
Yeah, no, he's the Lord of the Evercade.
Oh, the Lord of the Evercade.
Yeah,
okay.
So, and we've got the Lord of the Evercade, Sir Top and Hat. So welcome back.
Hiya.
Brilliant. It's brilliant to have everyone here with us this evening. And we've got a real busy chat this evening. So Blunners, you're going to be keeping an eye on that, popping up messages on the screen. But we've got Rob Taylor in the chat. Always great to see Rob. We've got Nick. Always great to see Nick. We've got 16 Bits and Bobs. Is it true that you're here this evening? I think it is. And we've also got Dorbs and... yeah, I think that's everyone covered. So yeah, if you are in the chat and you're lurking in the shadows, do drop questions into the panel because I'm sure we will be happy to answer them. And Sir Top and Hat is an encyclopedia on Evercade and video games. So I'm sure if it's the most obscure question you can come up with, I'm sure he will have an answer. Okay, so as we always start with on every one of our shows, we start with the latest Evercade news and what have you been playing. In terms of news, we haven't had any cartridges or Game of the Month announcements since our last show, but Evercade have been nominated for a Hardware Innovation of the Year at the MCV Developer Awards for the XP, and they're up against the Steam Deck and Amiga 500 Mini, amongst others, I believe, and Funstock, who are the number one distribution place for Evercade products. They've been nominated for Retailer of the Year, and it's up against Argos and the Game Stores, amongst others. And we wish them all the best in that. I'll be honest, I don't know what the MCV awards are, but Sir Top and Hat, I'm sure you can give us a little insight about those awards.
Yep, they're the Market of Home and Computer Video Games. So that's
Okay.
what the MCV Development Awards are. Obviously, they've been nominated now into the final. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed on the night. I think a few of them are going down. So let's hope that, we at least pull one award there. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be a boozy affair. But, you know, to be nominated against the Steam Deck and Amiga 500 Mini, they're keeping good company. So,
yeah, goodness gracious, yeah. I couldn't even imagine that the Evercade would go up against the Steam Deck or, I mean, the A500 Mini, yeah, possibly. I can see that. But, yeah, I mean, the Steam Deck's a monster. So, if we manage to sneak an award there, then fantastic. Yeah, my goodness gracious, I'll go up and collect it myself. So
I think you should. I think you should be the person who goes up and collects that award. I can just see you now with your fist pumping it in
Lord
the air.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it'd be a magic moment.
Yeah, well, if they're watching, and I've heard that they do watch this Evercade, because in a bit of news, Ollie and Dorbs from Retro Gaming Revival met Sean from Evercade at OLL last weekend, not the weekend gone, the weekend before, and they had a good chat with Sean. So I'm fingers crossed we will be having him on in a future show. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. Okay, so everyone's bored of hearing from me. So, Blunners, what have you been playing on your Evercade since we last did the podcast?
Right, so since we last did the podcast, the very next day my VS turned up. So I was been playing my VS, my Versus, or what some people call it. Actually played, what was it, Donut Dodo. Music on it's brilliant. It is rock hard though, I'm not gonna lie. It is a lot harder than I thought it would be, but it is. But you get to learn how to play it. So it's kind of like got that old school feel to it. It looks gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous. Yeah, it's brilliant. I can't wait. And obviously, just for that game alone, I'll be getting the Indie Heroes 3 as soon as you can. It's a really good idea what they do. This game of the month. But yeah, I love that game. Really good. Also, I have recently bought Namco Collection 1. I just chucked a little bid for a buy it now for £11, and they accepted it. So I'm more than happy to pay £11 for the Namco Museum cartridge. But so I've literally just started playing that, and he got that the other day. So they're the last two, and obviously been playing with VS on the big screen. It's good to actually be able to, like we've said in other podcasts, be able to play one on one and then carry on the other. I think it's brilliant. So it's kind of Switch like in a way, but yeah, it's very good.
Excellent. So you've been very busy with Evercade and building your collection. Every time we have a stream, you seem to have a new device, a new cartridge.
I know. I got to stop, haven't I? Before I know, I'll have them all. I'll be like you, Ryan, have them all.
I haven't got them all yet. I've still not got a television too. I'm still holding out.
There's some good deals on that. Come on.
I can't. You send me a deal and I will pick it up. I can't find any deals on it. It seems to be one that's always more expensive whenever I look. So you find one for me, Sir Top and Hat, a good deal, and I will purchase it. I will make the
Lovely.
I will make the leap and buy it. The cartridge doesn't even need to be working. I just want the cartridge on the shelf. So if anyone's got a broken one, do let me know and I will buy it off you. Because I'm never going to play it, but I will add it to my collection because I've got a missing number and it's very off-putting when I look at them. Okay, so Top and Hat, what have you been playing since we last spoke to you?
Well, like Blunners, obviously, I've been playing that indie game of the month, the Donut Dodo. Still a fantastic game. I've got it down to a T now. So, yeah, I don't die often. But occasionally, once I'm in the sort of medium hard or the speed run final stage, the sugar rush, as you saw yourself, Ryan, in the week, I racked up about 8 or 9 lives on my way to.
Is any way of live streaming that? Any way of live streaming? I want got to see this. I need proof, don't we?
Well,
Yeah.
what we could do is get Sir Top and Hat to have his Evercade, and if he can point his camera towards it, then we could stream it on this. We could stream it on an episode, him playing live.
Yeah,
would be pretty cool.
yeah, because it'd be good to get some pointers and get some tips, really. Someone who knows what he's playing.
Yeah, I've literally just put hours and hours into it, but yeah, totally rewarding and great fun. And you try to kind of learn your own pattern around each level, and then I stick to that pattern every time. So I try never to break it. That way, you can avoid things like the toilet comes after you and things like that, because you can make him drop down the relevant holes and skip off. And yeah, don't get too greedy on those flashing donuts. If you have to collect ordinary donuts, then so be it. You can still rack up a load of lives just by grabbing a few flashing ones each time. And that bonus stage has taken me quite a while to master and get all the donuts every time. So yeah, that's been a huge one this week. And also, of course, I've been playing Pac-Man. I've been putting a lot of time into Pac-Man again. I always do anyway, but yeah, this week especially. So yeah, I've had a really great week of enjoying that as well for high scores.
Do you prefer the console version of Pac-Man over the arcade version?
Probably, actually, yeah. I prefer the arcade version of Miss Pac-Man, but yeah, the actual version of Pac-Man, I find the NES version, I prefer that to the arcade. And I tried the one on the 1UP arcade machine not too long ago at Smith's Toys, and yeah, it still doesn't hold up quite as well as my NES version, I don't think.
Okay. Are you one of those who goes into Smith Toys and you see the arcade set up in there of Pac-Man and just smash a high score on it? And then
yeah, definitely. Leave my name on the high score table. Yeah, and off I go.
People come up, put their coins next to him. I go next.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, everyone had to wait for a turn last week when, yeah, I was on the Street Fighter 2 one. So, yeah.
Brilliant. I've got visions of you just in my head now, just going in there, just like, right, who wants a game? And just a big line of people just smashing them one after another on Street Fighter.
Grabbing one of them like chairs they're trying to sell, pulling it up.
Okay, so in terms of me, apart from Namco Museum Collection 1, which we're going to be reviewing later this evening, so I've put a bit of time into that. I went back and revisited Data East Arcade 1, and I played through Sly Spy again, which is yeah, really great game, and yeah, really enjoyed it. I love the parachute level. Well, I think that's at the start as you're falling down. It's very addictive game. Always have to type in 007 as my name at the start. You know, you have to be. It's based on James Bond. I'm sure that game is based on James Bond. But it's games like that which makes Evercade so good. It's just bringing games like that to your attention, because otherwise I would never ever have heard of that game. I could have brought a emulation device with 10,000 games on it, and I probably would never have picked that game. If I was playing a game for the rest of my life. So, yeah, really good, really recommended to anyone who hasn't played it. And I think, Blunners, you got Data East with your VS, so you'll be able to play some Sly Spy.
Yes, I have. Did I get it? Let's have a look. Yes. Yeah, did. So it's on there.
Yeah, you'll look forward to that one. Very good. If you remember when you came round, Mind played
it's
the
one
VS
that Dorbs was playing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he sat there and completed it. We had to sit there.
Yeah,
and
we
watch
couldn't
it
get him
like
off it.
45 minutes.
Yeah, we couldn't get Dorbs off it.
Yeah.
Dorbs.
No. So yeah, he very much enjoys that one. Okay, so as everyone knows, we've got two cartridges coming out. It's the end of this month, isn't it? So
28th.
Yeah, so yeah, Friday. So they should start being dispatched very soon, if not already. I haven't heard of anyone getting a notification that they're on the way.
A few European people. I've had emails, that they've been sent. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep an eye on your email. You may have Toaplan 2 and the C64 Collection 2 in the post to you very soon. And with that in mind, we are going to preview both of those carts now. So we're going to start with Toaplan 2, which is another arcade cartridge, which is, if I can find it here, is purple cartridge number 9. So that's arcade cartridge number 9. So I'm going to pass to you, Sir Top Hat, because you're an encyclopedia. You don't need the games on the screen to remind you. You will know what these games are. So did you want to talk us through some of the games that are on this cartridge and ones for people to look out for?
Yeah, I mean, it's got 7 games on the Toaplan collection too. I mean, I thought the first collection was really good, and I think they've especially with some of the ones which came on it. But this time, obviously, you've got Fire Shark, which is probably a centerpiece for people that like shooters. That really is sort of what I would class as a high-end arcade shooter of that era. Definitely one is perfect. So if you're into 4, then obviously, you're going to enjoy this one. Also, you've got Hellfire. That's a massive one everybody's looking forward to. That's obviously side-scrolling, but very much the emphasis is on the guns that you use. So you can pick up lots of ones that shoot vertically or horizontally, etc. So again, lots of practice getting those guns right. But I think it's one a lot of people are going to enjoy. You've got Rally Bike on there. So that's a pretty tricky one, to be honest, because you've got to collect the fuel as well as obviously navigate on the road.
Is it one of those where you blow up if you don't have enough fuel? Because they like to do that in the older games.
Yeah, you'll have to continue. Yeah. So again, it takes a lot of practice to sort of get it down, and also you've got to be prepared to take a risk. I like that type of game where I might not be able to fit through the gap, but I might be able to, and I've got to do it if I need the fuel. So yeah. I'm sure that'll get many a good hour out of people there. Another one is Twin Cobra. I found this one quite a simple one. Depends how you go with shooters, but again, lots of fun. And obviously, if you've got a versus, obviously you can have 2-player. So that's a big plus with that one. And obviously, you've got Twin Hawk as well. Again, another shooter. Unfortunately, as I say, it is quite sort of top heavy in these type of shooters, but then that's what Toaplan's known for. So it's going to certainly bulk out the collection in that way. And anybody that's interested in shooters, then if they've got these two collections, then pretty much they're kitted out. You've got Warder, of course. Now, I would urge anybody that's a platform fan to give this a go. I think it's absolutely fantastic. For myself personally, it's a real bonus to have on that cartridge. So yeah, if you do enjoy your platform games, that's one for you. And also, finally, we've got Demon World. If you like Ghostbusters and you like getting ghosts, this guy's got a little jetpack on his back where he can fire his proton phaser from. Look for the letters that come across the screen, and dependent on the letter, you can get like a three-way gun or a laser, things like that. Certain ones are more powerful than others. And as you go through the level, obviously you've got to shoot the ghosts. And then finally, you'll have a boss battle. I think the first boss at the end of level 1 is some form of like totem pole chief, some form of Indian chief at the end of the first one. So yeah, it is good fun. It takes a while to get used to the jumping, because you can also have a very high jump in it to grab the weapons and things like that and get up onto the second stages platforms. So yeah, a little bit of practice, and hopefully people will have a lot of fun with that one.
Okay, with Demon World, it looks like it's Jason there, doesn't it? See the thing?
Yeah.
The mask.
Yeah, I think they put a few things in there that yeah, sort of resemble that kind of era.
Okay, and with Wardener, is that an arcade game that's a platformer?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting, because you don't tend to see arcade games that are platform games, do you? So
no. But yeah, it was kind of around that era of sort of Willow and things like that, and yeah, I'm sure they sort of cashed in on that. It looks even a little bit like Wonder Boy, doesn't it, from the screenshot there from the background? But yeah, obviously very different in platform game. But yeah, it's once you have a go on it and you sort of get through the first couple of levels, you'll sort of see why it is such a special game, I think.
Okay. I think the same. I thought I watched Crazy Burgies in the chat. I watched his videos on it, and he actually goes through every single game, and he does talk about each one as well. So that if people are interested to see what these are like, go and check his channel out, because he plays every single one and goes through them all.
Okay. I'm going to ask you if you've pre-ordered it, so Top and Hat, but I already know the answer is yes.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I haven't received my email yet, but yeah, hopefully.
Did you pre-order it with the coffee cup? Or was that the next two?
This one comes with the pin badges.
Okay, it's the next one, because I've promised, haven't I, whoever sends a picture in the Evercade Hangout holding that mug, the first person, I will send you a voucher for a coffee at a UK coffee shop. So don't forget that. I was expecting it to be with this release, so I've got a little bit of time to save myself £3.50 before I've got to send that voucher to someone.
Oh no! Oh, I'm thirsty now as well. Oh.
And no, Nick Craddock, who's in the chat tonight, photoshopped a picture of him holding the mug, and I will know if it's not genuine or not. I will be on the lookout. Yeah, here he is. Yeah,
here he is. Here he is.
Yeah, fraud. Basically committing fraud by doing that.
Love it.
Okay. Blunners, is this a cartridge you're going to be ordering? And are you looking forward to it?
I think not yet. Once I get in, because a lot of them, I feel a lot of them are kind of made for the old Tate mode, is it? And I'm not a great shooter or a fan of shooters anyway. But it might be something I pick up later on. But I don't think I'll get the full experience that you want to get, really, other than if I play it on my Versus. But no, it's not one I haven't pre-ordered this one. No.
Okay. I will pick it up. I'm not a huge fan of shooters myself, and I did see someone make a comment the other day saying British people aren't fan of shoot 'em ups like Americans. But I don't know if that's just a bold statement that someone's made, or whether that's actually correct, that the UK market isn't massively into shoot 'em ups like the US market is. Is that, so Top Hat, is that something you would agree with, or do you think it crosses over the Atlantic both ways?
They had a lot of these ideas years ago. If you remember Super Mario and the Lost Levels, originally these were removed because they were considered too hard for Westerners.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's always been a lot. And RPGs, they've often debated on whether they bring them here because they don't consider us to be very big in RPGs. But I consider us to be massive here, to be honest. I think as the years have gone on, these games are a lot more appreciated. And I see a lot of people that like to speed run these games, and a lot of people that like to take up the challenge of never taking a hit and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think they've rose in popularity here, definitely. And also, as an added bonus, if you do add this collection to your already full Evercade collection, there's of course a hidden game when you put both cartridges in, don't forget.
And are you able to give us any clues what that hidden game is likely to be?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Shooter.
It'd be good fun for people to discover it, I think. So
yeah, of course. We wouldn't, not that you can say, but we wouldn't want to ruin it for anyone. Let them find out for themselves when they put both cartridges into the VS. And will that work on the XP? Will that transfer over? Will the XP register that you've got both cartridges, or?
I don't know. I would think there's a way of doing it. If they had a lead like we had for the original handheld that connected to the Versus, if you could have that for the EXP and put one cartridge in the Versus and one in the EXP, I don't see why you couldn't have the hidden game on the EXP, especially if you could, retain it to the file or something. But
yeah,
maybe that's something we'll see in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe that's something that Evercade will announce soon. Okay. One game I am looking forward to on this collection, I think Demon's World looks really cool. I like the look of that. Now you've said it's like a Ghostbuster kind of game that looks very cool. Wardner again, I'll definitely put some time into that. But I'm like Blunners, I haven't got a EXP yet. So some of these games I'll need to wait until I get an EXP, and then I'll be able to experience them how they were meant to be played in Tate mode. Because even though I've got a VS, I do play my handheld more than my VS, just for convenience more than anything. So playing one of these games on the original Evercade, the screen's going to be tiny. So yeah, it's definitely games I'll wait.
Just to touch on that, Evercade are looking into the possibility of perhaps bringing the Tate mode to the Versus. So that is something that is being looked into. So whether they can or they can't remains to be seen. But hopefully, I wouldn't see it's a problem. But yeah, hopefully we'll see that in a future firmware update.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because you think you could use a shoulder button as a shooter, couldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was reading.
Like that.
I think Sean or Ryan from Blaze, I was reading a comment by them the other day, and they were saying that they don't want to make Evercade products overly complicated, and that's why things like the dip switches aren't on the arcade games at the moment, because they don't want to overcomplicate the operating system for people, because the whole idea of Evercade is supposed to be plug and play, isn't it? You're meant to put the cartridge in and away you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's meant to be for anyone. So
yeah. So I understand why they don't include certain things, because they don't want to overcomplicate it for people. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've also got another cartridge coming out at the end of this week, which is the C64 Collection 2. And I don't mean to keep throwing you under the bus here, so Top Hat.
That's right.
But I will go to you first just to give your thoughts on the games that are on this collection.
Oh my goodness, yeah, 14 on this one. So a good few, and I think it's just as good a ones as on the first one, if not slightly better actually, because I'm a big fan of Pit Stop 2. Back in the arcade, of course, I was very into pole position back then. And before I could have pole position on the Commodore 64, I had Pit Stop 2. And I love a bit of that, try and get the fastest lap time and things like that. So yeah, and we haven't got too many games like that on the Evercade at the moment. So
that Pit Stop graphics amazing, isn't it, for back then? Look at that.
Yeah,
That would blow me
definitely.
away.
Yeah, and of course you've got to try and stop in the pits, but of course they overtake you and things like that. So you've got to try and gauge whether, you've got enough fuel to get you round again or not. So, yeah, great fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. Probably the biggest title on this collection, of course, is Iridium. So many people looking forward to this one. I had this one myself years ago. It was very cleverly done with the scrolling, and every level's named after a metal, of course, apart from the final level, which is Iridium. And obviously the only metal is Iridium, but not Uridium. There isn't a Uridium metal, or if there is, it hasn't been discovered yet. So I gather the man that made it thought that Iridium was a metal, but yeah.
Funny you should say that. I've just had some breaking news. Someone's just discovered Iridium.
Yeah.
Just as we've gone live.
So yeah, you have to destroy the evil forces and then obviously land your ship. But if you don't land, as a little added extra, if you don't land and you take out the final few enemies, then you'll get a big bonus. So yeah, that is worth bearing that in mind. Another one there is of course Nebulous. Fantastic! I was fascinated with this years ago and how it rotated round the tower. I forget how many towers there are altogether, something like about seven towers or something, and you've got to get to the top of every tower. It's a lot trickier than it sounds.
Yeah, it does look tough.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, at first glance you think, yeah, I can probably do that. But yeah, some of the towers get on. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. So, but yeah, definitely a favourite there. Another one, of course, they brought the sequel, which is Mission Impossible 2. So Impossible Mission. It is pretty impossible. So these days we've worked it out. Years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I never got to play the sequel, though, years ago. It never sort of turned up in any shops I went to. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting hands on with that one and seeing how they sort of moved it on from the first one. So that's quite exciting. Maybe down the line, perhaps Evercade can do something because obviously a third one's just been made and it's officially licensed. So I don't see why we couldn't perhaps get the third one in the future. Okay. Another outstanding one is Slayer. I wouldn't say it's particularly difficult. Once you get into it, I think you'll really enjoy it as a shooter. It doesn't require too much practice to get fairly far. So, and also it's pretty short. I think it's got something like 4 levels, something like that. So the chances of completing it are quite high as well. So, yeah, hopefully, yeah, people are going to enjoy that one. Another one, of course, is Sword of Fargol. I was really into the one on the first cartridge. So obviously to get this one as well and go around the dungeons, collecting up the treasure and beating the dragons. Yeah, fantastic. That's one I'll enjoy many an evening. It's always good for winter evenings, actually, and you can sort of sit down and work out what you've got to do. Once I work out the infantries on it, yeah, I'm good to go. So yeah, I think that's one everybody's going to enjoy. Another big one on there is Cybernoid. Very tricky, very tricky. There's some bits in it where it really is fractions of a second to get between enemy fire. So yeah, really, really difficult. But
yeah, this looks like kind of like a dark soul. It's like so hard. I saw was it Crazy Burger when he was trying to play it? That just wow, like it is tough.
Yeah, I think that's going to terrify a few gamers. But yeah, it's great to have it on there because it was very, very popular years ago. So that's nice to have it, and we can always all practice at it at different points. Another exciting one there is Firelord. Years ago, I drew a map for this game. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I still have it, but if I did, then yeah, I'd be able to crack it fairly quickly in about 15 minutes. But it's huge. The map's massive, and if you don't know what you're doing, and I've forgotten now, but you have to go into shops. You can also shoplift if you wish. But yeah, you'll be banned from the shop if you're cool. So do bear that in mind if you're doing it. So it's
you used to be able to do that on Zelda: Link's Awakening, didn't you? You used to be able to like run around the shopkeeper, run out, but you could never go back to the shop again if you stole anything.
Oh no! So yeah, it's nice to see that in there, and I think everyone's going to enjoy that. It's quite a little adventure, really, and how you have to try and get back into the castle. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going to give that one a go. Another one I've been meaning to settle the score with is Zamzar. Um, I thought back then, fantastic graphics. I think I got it on a cover tape years ago, something like Commodore Force or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. It might have been Commodore format. Fantastic game, and I almost completed it on several occasions, but unfortunately, I narrowly missed out. So yeah, I'm really looking to settle the score this time, and this is a fantastic way to do it on the Evercade. So yeah, I never thought I'd get another run at this one. So yeah, this is fantastic. So I'm really pleased about that game.
Okay. You didn't touch on the sports games, world
Um,
games.
oh, the basketball game. Yeah, Street Sports Basketball. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It is quite slow running. It's not against sort of NBA Jam, for instance, on the Super Nintendo. So yeah, the characters move much slower, but some great shots you can do on there. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's also possible to complete it, if I remember rightly, from years ago. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going to enjoy that. I love a bit of basketball. So yeah, that's a good one. And obviously Californian games. We can never get enough of that. The Commodore 64 version has an extra sport on it. I think it's Frisbee, if I remember. So yeah, you've got an extra sport in Frisbee on it. So yeah, definitely nice to see a different version, because I know a lot of people, if you didn't have an Atari Lynx and you did have the Commodore 64, then obviously you'll remember this version. So sometimes it is nice to add a different version of something in, just so other people can benefit.
Yeah, because that California Games version, the C64 version, is very similar to the Nintendo NES version I had when I was growing up. So that reminds me more of this version reminds me of the one I grew up with, rather than the Atari Lynx version, which to me is very different.
Yeah, it is quite different, to be honest. I had the Commodore 64 version myself, so yeah, I'm more familiar with this than the Atari Lynx.
Yeah, someone's put in the chat this is the better version of California Games, so that's a positive. That's good. Okay, and World Games, is that one that we can look forward to, or is it quite tricky without a joystick? Do you imagine?
Some of the events, like log rolling, I don't think I've ever met anyone that was any good at log rolling. I'm not quite sure how you did it now with the joystick.
Triangle face
yeah.
will be good at it, I bet you. Like squash. What was the other one he was good at?
Yeah, he's the master of squash, isn't he, on the Evercade?
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd probably be able to master that. Okay,
So,
and
yeah,
there's also. Oh, go and carry on.
Oh no, there's a lot of great events on it. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy it, and obviously bring in the World Games. Now we've got the others as well with the summer and winter. Yeah, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna just hand over to you, Blunners. Is this one? I know you haven't got any of the computer or home computer collections yet. I know you're excited for the Amiga collection. Is this C64 one that you're going to be picking up?
I'm on the fence at the minute. There's some really good games on here. Like I do like, as I was saying, like we spoke about Pit Stop 2. I haven't played the Street Sports Basketball before. Iridium looks really good. Farlord, they do look really good. So yeah, and you're getting quite a lot of titles as well. So yeah, this is one I am on the fence about. I probably will pick it up, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it day one. But yeah, I do like the look of it.
Well, you're not going to keep your name of Mr. Evercade if you don't pick it up day one, so you're going to have to up your game. Otherwise, you'll slip down to Master Evercade. You're going to lose your place. You're going to lose your place in the pecking
Junior
order.
Evercade, I'll get.
Yeah, that'll be it. Or the Squire of Evercade. That could be another one.
I think what people are saying in the chat here is quite right. You need a joystick for a few of these events. It's painful on a D-pad.
Yeah, well, it was painful enough with a joystick back in the day, wasn't it? You'd come away with like bloody blistered hands. I never played a C64, but I remember my next door. Well, I did play C64, but my next door neighbour had an Amiga, and I remember playing the like athletics games on that with his joysticks, just smashing hell out of the joystick trying to, and then he would go through joysticks like there were no tomorrow. They would have because they weren't built for the games basically.
No.
So I wasn't overly excited about this one, apart from for World Games and California Games when I first saw it announced. But then Sir Top Hat's a very good salesman, and it's made me like Pit Stop 2. I looks very, very nice. I like racing games. So that's a game that I could get into. Impossible Mission, I couldn't get on with the first one. I'll obviously give it a go. But I do find the jump physics quite difficult. I don't know, is this just the same again, or have they made it slightly easier on this one?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, as I say, I didn't originally get to play the second one, so I'm hoping they improved on that. I think I did read somewhere that it was slightly improved. They'd improved a few of the features, so yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Just anything to make a game easier for me, basically. That's what I'm asking for. Street Sports Basketball. I'm looking forward to that. I really like the basketball game on the Atari Lynx. I think that's quite underrated.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that's one of those games that goes under the radar a little bit on Evercade because I think it's quite an addictive game. And I even like the Atari, is it 7800 version we've got as well?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the only games I like on the Atari cartridge. So Atari have done well there because I actually quite like that game. So yeah, I will pick this up. I am looking forward to it. I'm probably looking forward to this one more than Toaplan. As I mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of shoot 'em up, so this will definitely sit. I'll feel more comfortable playing the games on here because I enjoy sports games. There's some platformers on there as well, and yeah, hopefully this will win me or win the C64 over in my eyes because I've never been a great fan of it. So I'm always willing to try new games. So yeah, I look forward to receiving this. Hopefully it will come by the end of this week and I'll have something to play over the weekend. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. And on our next show, we'll obviously be able to review them. So that'll be something to really look forward to. Okay, so our final topic this evening. Those who were with us last time, we covered the Dizzy or Oliver Twins collection, and with it being an Easter special, we thought we would cover the games on there and give our thoughts on that. And with it being a legacy cartridge, we thought it would be a nice series to work our way through all the legacy cartridges and give our thoughts on them before they become unavailable. So with that in mind, Blunners picked up the Namco Museum Collection 1, which is cartridge 2. So we're going to just give our thoughts on that as our final topic this evening. And Blunners, as you picked it up recently, I'm going to start with you to give your thoughts on this cartridge. And
So I've only played it. I played it. I think I got it Saturday, and I've only had a quick go on it. So obviously everyone knows Pac-Man, so I don't really have to talk about that. But the first game I played was Battle Cars, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And Dick Dug is really good as well. So not Dick Dug, where is it? Yeah, Dug. Sorry. Starlife's trying to go on, but ones like Mappy I've never played before, and I just didn't really understand what the hell I was doing on it. Mappy Kids as well was a bit better than the other one, but
Mappy, you just need to collect the stolen items, don't you? But it's quite
Yeah.
hard and open the doors, so you have to it's quite tricky. Then, but once you get the hang of it, it's easier. Just if you just spend a little bit of time on it, you do start to get used to it after a while. Because I was like you, I was like, this is rock hard, and then I actually sat down and spent a bit of time on it, and it's like, oh, actually, I understand what I'm doing now, and it's actually quite an addictive little game.
Yeah, I think as I say, I've never played it before. There's a fact that like, right, what we do, where am I going? Bang, dead straight away. I was like, oh shit, I need to start moving. Can't just stand still. You got to move. But then Metal Marines. I didn't really understand what I was having to do on that one at all. I was trying to build my base. The next thing, before I knew it, they'd already landed and started taking me out. So I thought I thought no, so I went back. I went back to I quite liked my battle cars and my Pac-Man. So I was it's good. What was this? One of the first carts out, so it was good to have a quick go on it. But yeah, I haven't got underlining thoughts because I still need to play a couple of the other games. But I just had a quick flick through, just to try and play. What was the other one? I played the Quad Challenge as well. And yeah, but my ones I quite liked on it. Obviously, everyone likes Pac-Man. Doug was good, and I liked Battle Cars. They were my main three I've taken away at the minute.
Yeah, Battle Cars is a nice game,
Mm.
Super Nintendo version, I believe. So yeah, that's a really nice game, and it's quite addictive. It's easy to play. Galaxian always reminds me of the loading screen in Ridge Racer Revolution, because I'm sure that's what you used to play when that game was loading. So that brings me back to when I first got my PlayStation 1, because Ridge Racer Revolution was one of the first games I had. So that's nice. I would like to be able to play Ridge Racer Revolution after I've played Galaxian. That would be a nice bonus. Imagine if that was hidden in there somewhere and nobody had found it yet. Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, I like that. Pac-Man, again, I actually prefer the NES version to the arcade version. I find this one a bit more playable, not so hard. So yeah, Pac-Man's good. Mappy, as I just mentioned, once you know what you're doing, is quite a nice game. Mappy Kids is a nice platformer. It's the first English version, isn't it? Hasn't it been translated from?
Yeah, it was the first English translated version, official translated version. So
Yeah, so that's nice. Metal Marines, again, I'm like Blunners, haven't got a clue what I'm doing, but I find games like that I'm more comfortable with a mouse. I either need to spend more time on it figuring out what I'm doing, or they need to add a mouse feature to the VS or something so I can do that a bit easier. And what else have we got? And yeah, Star Luster. I want to say that's quite a popular game with a few people. Is that the one where you have the shield that comes up? So you have a shield level, or am I thinking of something?
You have a shield level on it, and obviously you've got a. I think each one you've got to try and get the space station, haven't you? I think that was. I haven't played it in a little while, but
yeah, because
I
now know who Obsolete World is from the Evercade Hangout, because I've known over the years that he's been a very big fan of Star Luster. So it's good to see that he's in the chat this evening, because I know he's really bigged up that game. So it's a cartridge that most people have got, especially in Europe, because it came bundled with the came bundled with every Evercade, didn't it? Because it came just with the starter pack. You got Namco, or did you get Atari? I can't. With the Evercade, you got Namco.
Oh, with the original handheld, you got Atari one, Namco one, and an Interplay one.
And what about the basic pack? Did you get just Namco?
I think you did, yeah. Unless you're in America, yeah.
In America they got Data East, didn't they? They didn't get Namco. Yeah. But yeah, Namco, good cartridge. Definitely, and like the name alone sells it. And I like the fact that on the box you've got Pac-Man 40th anniversaries. That's a nice touch. So we're now just finally on to you, Sir Top Hat, to give your thoughts on this cartridge.
I mean, it's a great introduction for Namco, especially if people aren't familiar with some of their games. Dig Dug is absolutely fantastic once you really get into it. And so, yeah, that's one I would urge people to sort of try out first, definitely. Galaxian is always great if you enjoy those sort of what I call fixed shooter games. I don't think we've got enough of them on Evercade at the moment. I think there's plenty around, and I'd certainly like to see more in that sort of style. Mappy, I was a late adopter of Mappy, even though I actually owned it years ago. I never really got into it, but the Evercade gave me chance. The key things to remember with the game is when you're on the trampolines, the cats can't kill you. So you can go up and down a million times if you like, but they can't kill you. It's only when you come off of them. And yeah, obviously you've got to grab every object, whether that's a painting, a TV, a radio, but also you'll notice there's one cat in particular who looks slightly different. And when he dashes behind one of the objects, collect the object and you'll score yourself 1,000 points instead of 100. So that's another way. And also there's a brilliant bonus stage in it where you've got to collect balloons. And it took me a little while to master that. But yeah, every time I do it now, I never go wrong. So I love that bonus stage. Xavius, a lot of people like that one. Again, I think I enjoy the NES version probably better than the arcade, to be honest. I find it slightly smoother and easier to get to grips with. So, yeah, that's always a good one. Metal Marines, if you're looking for more information on it, there's a blog on the Evercade website about it, which does explain a lot more about it in detail. Once you get into it, it's actually a pretty fantastic game if you're into strategy games. So, yeah, it's worth seeking out that blog and giving it a little read.
Yeah, it had like Command and Conquer like vibes to me. So when I first had a quick go on it, but yeah, I think it is something. Once you know what you're doing, I think it could be quite good.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, Pac-Man. Pac-Man's the big shout out there. Obviously, we need more Pac-Man. We love Pac-Man. So yeah, it's brilliant to see him on there. And as I say, I too prefer the NES version to the arcade. So yeah, for myself, I play it weekly, pretty much as as a standard, because it is a fantastic game. So yeah, it's a good collection, that. And as you say, battle cars and obviously Little Rabble took me a little while to get into, but again, once you get into it, yeah, it's quite a fantastic little game. So yeah, definitely a good introduction there to Namco.
Yeah, and on the next episode, we'll cover Namco Collection 2, which has got some big hitters on that one. That's a very good cartridge. Blunners, you need to get on that ASAP. If you want to level up to Mr. Evercade, yeah, you need to pick that one up. I'm not going to say what's on it because obviously we'll cover that in the next episode. If anyone's trying to message us in the chat, we seem to be having a problem with it. It's not connecting at the moment, so apologies for that. But if you've got any questions for us for the next, we'll be here for the next 5 minutes. Do get them into the chat. So Top and Hat may have some answers to some questions about Evercade that you might not necessarily know the answer to, or Mr. Evercade himself, Blunners, might be able to tell you what it's like to become a collector of Evercade in 2023, or a late adopter, I should say.
Yeah, that should be me.
Yeah, there was a starred message in the comments. Have you unstarred that, or is it still?
Yeah, it was just asking what the hidden game was in Toaplan 2, but
yeah,
we've already spoken that. We don't want to know that yet. So
yeah,
I took it out.
Yeah, we can't reveal that. Oh, here we go. From Crazy Burgers put a question in there. Now the chat's working again. So of all the 4 carts coming up, which game are you looking forward to the most? So Top and Hat, I'll ask you first.
Goodness gracious, out of all 4. Goodness gracious. Oh, it's difficult to say because I like different ones for different reasons. Yeah, that is pretty trippy. Metal Mech, I think, on Pico Interactive 3. I really, really like that game. So I think that's a big one. And I think also to have Alien Breed Tower Assault. I think everybody's going to dive on that the minute they get that experience. So, yeah, that's the 2 I'm most looking forward to, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Apart from Kingpin Arcade Sports Series Bowling, which I am looking forward to, obviously. No, Alien Breed Tower Assault is definitely the one for me. It looks so nice graphically. It looks really good. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. And Blunners being Mr. Evercade.
No, well, I have pre-ordered this cart, so I'm looking forward to Body Blows. I haven't played that in years. Also, I vaguely remember playing Project X with my brother years and years ago, so that's another one I'm quite looking forward to playing.
Yeah, there's some really good games coming out on the next 4 cartridges. Do we expect to get another cartridge announcement soon? Maybe after these 2 have been released, we might get something possibly. I don't know. I'm looking.
Oh dear, putting me over a barrel here. I think. I don't think you'll see anything Evercade related until later in May.
Okay. We will watch this space then. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure spending the evening with you two talking Evercade. I'm sure Ollie will be back to host next time, so you won't have to listen to my dreary voice for 50 minutes again. So you can listen to Ollie's dreary voice instead for 50 minutes. No, of course I joke. Ollie's got a lovely voice, and he's much better than what I am. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in the chat this evening. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and drop us comments in the chat as well. In the comments, because we will get back to you. So any questions that you've got Evercade related, if someone from Retro Game Revival isn't able to answer the questions, then Sir Top and Hat's always at the end of the phone, so I'm sure he will be able to answer your questions. So yeah, without further ado, thank you everyone, and good night, and see you very soon.